Yeah, your heaven is alright. Just more shit that I don't buy. When they're heading for the coast, they're moving out in droves, sending back reports on the radio. The message is the same, it's getting pretty lame. California dreaming's on the radio. And here we go again, it's never gonna end. We're all so sick of California song. Yeah, we know you love LA, there's nothing left to say. Breathe down more California song. And here we go again, it's never gonna end. We're all so sick of California song. Yeah, we know you love LA, but there's nothing left to say. Breathe down more California song. And fuck the other two.
Greetings and salutations. It's Friday night. It's Fandom Empire Live. We have a lot of things that we want to talk about tonight. Some fandom-y, some not fandom-y. But we're going to get to all that stuff here in due course. I am, of course, Johnny. If you watch the Tuesday Night Star Wars show, you already know who I am. But if you don't, hi, how are you? I'm Johnny. Joining me tonight, it's Fandom Empire Live. So...
It's Thursday. I wish it was Friday.
No, is it Thursday? Oh my goodness, it is Thursday. Wow.
How my hopes up, man.
I'm literally a day ahead here, man. I'm living in... Wow. Space world, man, I guess. All right, it's Thursday night, not Friday night. I'm a day ahead of myself. I'm going to blame it on the fact it's leap year. It's February 29th. My brain doesn't comprehend that. It should be Friday. It should be the 1st of March today. I'm going to stick with that as my excuse for thinking today's Friday.
You're blaming leap year. Wow.
I am blaming leap year. I get to use this excuse once every 4 years, so by God, I'm going to use it today. All right, joining me tonight on this Thursday night edition of Fandom Empire Live, he is directly below me. If you watch pretty much literally anything here on this channel, you of course know who he is. Sean, how are you doing this evening?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good, believe it or not, to the chagrin of a lot of people. But I'm doing good, and actually looking forward to having this discussion.
Well, good is good. Joining us tonight is co-host Monday nights on Tonight in Haddonfield. Dean, how you doing?
I'm hanging in there, pretty good. Getting ready for the weekend. I got a light but hectic work schedule coming up, so we'll see how that pans out.
I hope it goes well for you.
Yeah.
And joining us from wherever he pops up, he's Tommy B. How you doing, Tommy?
I'm hanging in there, John. Hanging in there.
The Tommy enthusiasm.
Tommy, a few words.
A man of few words, but
I can
always
say a
fun
lot
faces.
of words, but no one wants to hear them.
All right. Well, we're going to start this off with the heavy stuff. So, we're going to get right out in front of this. Sean, the floor is yours.
Before I do, I just want to invite someone else in here. I just set up another camera slot. Just tried to pull them in. It didn't work. So big welcome. First time on air. I apologize for the first topic we got to discuss here, but it's a pleasure to have him. It's Chris. What's going on, buddy? Nice shirt.
What's up? Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Doing good. All right. So let's start here. This is, I'm not going to say it's an incredibly difficult thing to talk about, but no doubt there are people watching this right now hoping that I have a complete meltdown and, just disintegrate in front of you guys and go to hell or something, which is probably going to happen one day, but not today. Okay, so in a nutshell, my fiance, mother of my children, Jade, and I definitely had our privacy invaded last night, and it's not the first time it's happened. And you guys all know what we're about to talk about, so I'm going to be as vague as I can here, and appreciate the staff that's in the chat right now too. Look, we do other forms of content that aren't on YouTube, and it's 2024, people. I respect that if you don't believe in that sort of thing. I completely understand. However, it is 2024, and what my wife and I do outside of Fandom Empire is completely our business, and nobody else's business here. In fact, I can guarantee you that before, I don't know, like 2 a.m. last night, nobody on the show, or mostly nobody in the chat, knew the things that I told them. I think one might have suspected, but we'll leave that for another time. But yeah, essentially we had our privacy invaded, and we were doxxed yet again by the same lovely individuals that let us know how they feel during our coverage of Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. And I could do them the disservice of speaking their names or their fake names or where they're from or what their Discord server is or what their YouTube channel is, but that doesn't do me any good. So I'll keep it as simple as I can. Jade and I, in addition to the show that we're starting here, the Legacy of Smallville, do other forms of content elsewhere. And again, it's not going to be for everyone. But these people had it in their mind that they were going to reveal to the world, as if we weren't already doing that, what we were doing. So again, if your views don't line up with that, I get it. You can read into it how you want. I'm not going to be belligerent here with it. But yeah, it's shitty whenever someone invades your privacy and people, have a goal, I guess, to make your life a living hell. And honestly, these group of individuals haven't made my life a living hell since Jade and I lost our baby a few years ago. And now that one stings. And it's not like it was just because of those individuals. I've never said that, but the messages and the harassing that they did, I don't think it's still to this day. I guess if you're a keyboard warrior, you have no idea what other human beings are capable of, or the shit that you can be in if you are discovered and where you live is discovered. For doxing people and going to the extent that you went, we haven't talked about any of these people in years. We've continued to make content, and much to your chagrin, people, while the channel doesn't pull in the numbers it did during Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, it is still pulling in the same amount of money. So there are still people that support this channel, like this guy over here who's sponsoring the channel, and then another fella who's going to be on a little later that's sponsoring the channel. People should be able to go and do what they want without having to worry about other people harassing the shit out of them. It's truly disappointing that I have to be on here talking about this, but it was the right thing to do. And honestly, their whole goal was to drive people like Tommy, who was mentioned by name, people like Dean, who was mentioned by name, sponsors that pay their hard-earned money to keep this channel up and going, and viewers away from the channel. And I wasn't sure how this was going to go. And you know what? If there's one thing I have to apologize for, it's not my wife and I doing whatever the hell we want on our spare time. It's for not necessarily totally believing in my head that people like Johnny, Dean, Tommy, Chris, Travis, Rachel, Brittany, and others, Matt, I apologize for not believing that you guys would necessarily stand by us. Obviously, it's a sensitive topic, right? And your unwavering support today has not not just been an uplifter for me, but for my fiance as well. So, with that being said, we've received so much courage and so much support and love and people saying, you know what, you should continue to do what you guys want to do. And guess what? That's exactly what we're going to do. So find someone else to go piss on, because all you did was a minor irritation. And if anything, unified us even more. So I apologize. I sincerely apologize for whatever I did or we did to set these individuals off in such a manner that the only use they have for their life is to try to ruin ours. It's sad, it's pathetic, and I've been done with it for a long time. And I hope they decide to move on. They probably won't, but we have nothing else to do here, fellas. Move on, do something with your lives. If you were watching last night, you've seen that we are.
Well said, Sean. I mean, it's nobody else's business but yours and your own. So I don't understand why people have to kind of try to dig and find dirt and then put it out there as if it's going to have some kind of effect on everybody else. So I think you kind of nailed it already in what you said, and let's just move forward.
If you've been around here long, if you've seen us in this show, you know that I've known you for 30 years in reality, in real life. And it's to think that something like this might actually put even a dent on this. You're throwing a pebble in a pond. You're doing nothing. Stop. Just go away. We don't have time to punch down to your level, so just shoo fly.
Yeah.
We want to talk about something. We could talk about you guys being old. 30 years.
Oh my God, here we go.
Wow, really getting up there, huh?
29 too long.
5.
Nah, it's already been said. What's the point? What's the point of trying to ruin someone else's life by going after how they spend their time, pursue their personal activities? People need to get over themselves. Sean, you a few moments ago made an apology to this person for whatever you did that may have encouraged them to do what they do.
I legitimately wish I knew, but I don't. So whatever.
Well, that's the thing, Sean. It doesn't matter what you did that may have encouraged them to do. At this point, they are an adult. They are capable of making their own decisions, and they are responsible for the consequences of their own actions. Case closed. Period.
Chris, this is your first time on here, man. I talked to you today. Chris is actually renewing his sponsorship of the channel. He makes incredible Michael Myers masks. About 50 feet that way, I have an incredible custom-made Halloween 4 mask that we hope to do something with this year. But I asked you today, I was pretty upfront with you about everything, and said that, hey, I understand if you don't want to do this anymore. That I get it, but you decided to stay. So maybe just say a few things, and we can hopefully move on.
Well, I mean, my opinion of it is, and I think I told you today, what you and Jay, do in your own personal lives is, your personal business, and shouldn't affect the channel. What you do in your free time is, all up to you. The fact that people want to take time out of their lives to try and tear it apart or to, expose it or whatever else, just, to me says a lot about that individual, and they really probably have no lives outside of, doing this. I think I might have a general idea of who these people are. I've had a run-in with them once a while back. They are, to me, they're kids with nothing better to do with their lives. And, you need to grow up, move on. To me, Fandom Empire and this is about, something that's supposed to be fun, something to get away from the daily grind that I think we all in here work hard at regular jobs, and we all have a lot on our minds. And this to me serves as a kind of escape from all that. And I get to get in here and geek out about Halloween or whatever else you talk about. And this, should not be surrounded by so much, what I call ignorant drama, and people who just want to try to bring others down. And it could be, maybe in my personal opinion, maybe a little bit of jealousy on their part. Now, I don't know much about, if they have a channel or what they do, but, usually you try to go after people who you tend to envy a little bit and you don't want to see them succeed. So my personal opinion, just grow up and move on. Just leave this channel alone, leave the people in it alone, and just move on.
Yeah. I wish I could say that I knew any of them personally, but I guess they got bored and decided to come back. I don't know.
You're probably better off not knowing them personally. Let's be for real here.
It probably wouldn't go well for me in the long run, and we'll leave it at that. But no, honestly, just thank you for the support. Today's been eye-opening for both Jade and I. Jesse's in the chat as well. He's a channel sponsor here who is well aware of everything and appreciate his support. I thought we had one more coming. He can't seem to decide if he's coming or not. So I'm going to shift gears here a little bit. And if Matt does decide to join us, then we'll backtrack. But look, I got to give a shout out to Dean and Rachel for the specifically Dean, because he was doing it alone for a long time. I was definitely consumed and very busy, but we created a group on Facebook. What do you know? What an original idea, called the Legacy of Halloween. And I think we knew it would get some traction, but then it blew up into this thing that's like 300,000 people deep almost, which even with our expanded staff now that we have in the horror division of Fandom Empire, it's a lot to handle. And Dean and Rachel for months have, frankly, because I just don't have a whole lot of time to be able to do that as well. I'm sure they're busy as well, but like the shit that they go through and the bullshit people pull and the harassing and the stupid messages just because someone doesn't agree with your view on a movie is just fucking disgusting. And it's like, I get it. You're going to have some fucking idiots in a group where there's 300,000 people. Pardon my language. There's no way to oh my God. Sorry. 1 second, guys. I can't scroll up. You're going to have bad apples, right? It's not going to be 300,000 strong of, nice people. It's just not the way the world works. But like I've watched some of the messages and seen some of the messages, pardon me, that Dean has gotten and Rachel has gotten over there. And like those two do an incredible job of keeping that group as clean as possible. And I think there's other people in other groups that, get pissy or envious over, this group that we somewhat fluked into. Because we don't have you can't bash or be critical of a certain movie in our group. It's call a spade, express your feelings and be open for conversation. And it almost always turns into a personal attack. Dean, I feel like this has been a long time coming, man, but I'd love for you to just say a few words on the Legacy of Halloween and, some of the shit that you have to go through over there, and more specifically, how we might be able to improve on that.
Yeah. Overall, it's fun. For the most part, we get good conversations. We get people, who are just as tired of that shit as we are. But being in the admin and the moderator roles, we deal with it a lot more. Like you mentioned, I get messages from people just, snapping because they're suspended or comments were removed or, disagreements and whatnot. And then half the time it blows over. And then every now and then you get people who just, they can't handle it and they have to go off and they have to rant and they have to rave and just go on a tangent about whether it be discipline or disagreement or just something. And we're fucking tired of it. Like, we're just overall tired of it. Rachel and I do a lot of the heavy lifting. Adding in new mods has helped. We have a lot better control on things now. And like Sean mentioned, it's a group to express your opinions and have fun and chat about movies that you like or dislike. Like, we're not going to ass kiss every movie just because it's a Halloween franchise movie. Everybody can have their pros and cons on stuff, but that doesn't mean people have to lose their minds and just go off because people disagree. Like, at the end of the day, it's entertainment and it's fun to talk about it in the right sense. So it's getting tiring. It's feeling like babysitting more than anything nowadays. And that was never our intention. We wanted to open a space for people to come and talk about Halloween. For the most part, we've accomplished that. Like Sean said, growing to the membership that it's hit was never anything we expected. So it's getting more difficult to handle that capacity of people. But adding in new mods, new admins, people to help kind of control it, it's been an option for a while. We definitely are still open to adding people to kind of help out, but we don't want people to get the wrong idea either. That's not something to go on an ego trip and a power trip and overstep your boundaries and abuse that authority that we allow or Facebook will allow. But just come in and crack the whip every now and then, and we try to avoid that if we can. But sometimes just shit has to get handled, and we do the best that we can.
You forgot one thing, Dean.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite ones.
Oh yeah,
Facebook auto declines.
Yeah, all of those.
One of my favorite ones. Putting out one of those fires at least.
Yeah.
A few times a month, it seems like.
Yeah. They're finally starting to notify us when admin assist has jumped in and taken something down, so we can now see it. But that's something else they don't understand. Like, they're blaming us for being PG or censoring, curse words and whatever. That's admin assist. We've explained it more than enough times. Blame Zuckerberg. That's all I can say. Go after Mark. Leave us the fuck alone.
I really do think we've tried to approach tonight. I could have come on here and cussed nonstop and called all of them out by name or by their fake names that they use. And I didn't do that. And, it's not like a plead to stop. They're going to do what they want to do. But I think their goal was to scare us off over at the other platform. And then also, I know their goal, they said for fact, was to scare you guys off and the viewers off here. However, this has never been a PG channel. It will never be a PG channel. It's definitely an adult-based channel. So I don't know how they thought that was going to accomplish anything in terms of what we went through, but in terms of what's going on in the Legacy Halloween, just other social media groups in general, it's like you can't tell someone something sucks anymore, or that you don't not necessarily that it sucks, but hey, this wasn't for me, without someone getting offended.
Yeah.
And it's really unbelievable. And like, even take what Chris does, for example. He works on Myers masks. Now, I don't know if he has to go through any of this, but I've watched, and James was in the chat earlier too. I've watched people who work on Michael Myers masks intentionally go out of their way to slam other artists just for the sake of either who they're aligned with and who they like, or just to slam them in terms of boosting their own product up while slamming someone else's. And it doesn't end there. And I'm gonna walk somewhat carefully here. The same fucking thing happens in content creation. Okay, there are people on a very popular movie review channel that might have something to do with popcorn and 3D glasses who just bash us and say that we've been lying nonstop about everything. I can sit here and tell you, I can sit here and tell you that I personally have never, ever, one time come on this channel and lied about a fucking thing. If I've said it, it means I believe it. Does everything come true? Nope. No, it doesn't. But what's the point of coming on here and lying? If I was to lie about if any of us were to lie about anything, it would be this. So now think back of all the times that, whether it's the group of people harassing or the other popular YouTube channel saying that we're full of shit. If we were full of shit about anything else, why not be full of shit about this too? We've never operated that way. I've been upfront with Dean about everything. Matt's in the green room right now. He's been involved for years. But sorry, that was Jade. Yeah, that's just sort of where I fall with it. It's embarrassing that instead of lifting each other up and lifting other content creators up, it becomes this fucking almost, woke political thing where it's almost like an arms race to see who's going into office. It's like, I'm just on here to, one, if it wasn't enjoyable, I wouldn't do it. There's other ways to make money. But two, because it's enjoyable and because I spend a lot of time on it, it needs to make a little bit of money too. Not life-changing money or anything, but a bit of money. And it does that. And yet that's apparently a crime to many people. And it just needs to stop. And not just in Fandom Empire stuff. It happens in other places too. Like, let people live their fucking lives and piss off. Go live your own. And if we're the primary enjoyment of your life, whether it's harassing people in a Halloween group, harassing people on another form of social media platforms or whatever, you're the one with the problem. Like, it's that simple. Joining us now, and then we'll move on to some fandom talk, I promise. He's a staff member here at Fandom Empire. Someone that had a little bit of a run-in with these guys in the past. Friend of the show, on the show, Mr. Matt Whitfield. Jade just said the one thing we lied about was liking you.
You talking to me? Because I can leave.
What's going on, man?
Not much. Y'all having a good night?
Yeah, better now. Hanging with you guys.
Fuck darts.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Did you have anything you wanted to say in terms of just the shit that goes on in the content creation game or these people?
I mean,
again, we're not trying to attack anybody. We're trying to prove a point here that, hey, go ahead and reveal what you want to reveal because we are who we are, and it seems like nobody's going anywhere.
I mean, if you don't like us, fuck off. If you don't agree with what we're doing, don't watch. Yeah, I mean, if you want to challenge what we say, ask us. We're going to give it to you straight. If you don't like it, go live your own life, and we're going to keep on doing what we're doing. And you're always going to have somebody who doesn't agree with your take, who doesn't agree with what you do on any given channel. Try to start crap and busting in people's lives and just, make life hell. And they're those keyboard, we call them keyboard warriors who live in their mama's basement for word versions who have no life.
I mean, I don't even want to go that far because then you're just doing something similar to what they're doing. And like, I honestly, go find another way to be happy,
Yeah,
or sit back and fucking enjoy the content and shut up, So
exactly. And if you don't like it, piss off.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something else you can do.
Yeah.
Anybody else have anything else they want to add just in terms of the shit that goes on with content creation or whatever? Or Dean, is there anything you want to add to the Legacy of Halloween stuff or for anything like that? And then we're going to move on to Crystal Lake. There's apparently some news over on that front, and we'll talk about Halloween.
As far as Legacy of Halloween, it's a good, decent group. If you guys, want to come join in, see what it's like, see what we talk about. People do post some fun stuff over there. So, don't let the conversations that happen between other people arguing kind of steer you away. Come check it out for yourself. And then if you decide to stick around, great. If it's not for you, then, so be it. It is what it is.
Alrighty. Sorry, I kind of took over Johnny's job there, but we didn't get a chance to properly plan this out. But I think it kind of worked going by the seat of our asses here. Let's dive into some fun stuff, some fandom stuff here for 20 or 30 minutes. We got a big round table on.
Well, before we get to that,
oh yeah, sorry, I just seen his message. Go ahead.
Am I outro-charming or you? I thought you were taking over. Okay, I guess I'll do it. Tommy, thanks for joining us tonight.
All right, good stuff. I just committed to another 20, 30 minutes. I'd like
Tommy
to say
hates,
it was
Tommy hates
enjoyable.
Friday the 13th. Confirmed.
I enjoyed Friday the 13th. I'll definitely be checking out whatever's in the pipeline. I distinctly recall something being announced a while back. Look forward to hearing more about that. With all that said, I'd like to say it was enjoyable being on with you folks. I wish it was under better circumstances. With all that said, I hope you all have a great rest of your evening.
See you, Tommy. Thanks, bud.
Appreciate it, Tommy. Now that looks weird. There's weird. Hang on.
If you can shift yourself to far side, that'll give us 3 up top and 2 at the bottom.
Where's the pyramid setting?
I'm just gonna be glory hog. I'm gonna go right into the middle.
All
right.
Well, I mean, you did take over moderating, so I guess you belong there now.
Yeah, I just felt like, oh my god, we haven't planned this out or anything. So it's about as raw and real as it gets. So I've seen 2 different places today. One, Jimmy Champagne's channel, another one on social media. That Crystal Lake, the TV show, Friday the 13th franchise TV show done by Brian Fuller, who did Hannibal, with Mads Mikkelsen and Lawrence Fishburne and others.
Fancy.
Thank you. Who did he play? Was he the main character?
He was Will.
Yeah, Will was awesome. I dig Will. Great show, by the way. If any of you guys haven't given it a chance, definitely give it a shot. It's a slow burn, but it's worth it. Anyways, Crystal Lake was, before the writer's strike last year, set to begin filming this spring. Now it's going to begin filming in the summer. To me, that rules out any sort of release this year, which is what Dean and I have been talking about on Tonight in Haddonfield. We haven't talked about it in a bit, but we said that Crystal Lake was more than likely going to be a 2025 release with the slew of other horror content coming in that year. And there's a lot of it. So just a couple questions for you guys here. And we'll go around the table. Start with this. What's your guys' excitement level in a Friday the 13th show? And what's your, how much faith do you have in A24 and Brian Fuller breathing some life, some much needed life back into this franchise, knowing that the subject material and the tone of it's probably going to be a lot different than a lot of other Friday the 13th content we've seen. Dean?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm still intrigued. Filming is looking to start this summer, so I'm sure we'll start to get, images and behind the scenes stuff, little details here and there. So once that starts coming out, I'll probably kind of become a little more interested. But I'm really curious to see how it pans out, where it goes. Brian Fuller is heading it, right, Sean? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm curious to see, what direction he takes it. And with A24 behind it, I'm not huge on their content, but I'm always up for giving something a chance. So let's, throw the ball in their court. Let's see what they do with it.
Oh, fucking mute, son of a bitch. Johnny?
1 second.
All right. Well, we'll shift gears. Chris, how about you? I don't know if you're a big Friday fan. We're not. We haven't talked too much about Friday or Jason for that matter. But what's your excitement level for a Crystal Lake TV show and your faith in them doing it right, depending on what's right for you with that franchise?
I do really like Friday the 13th. I think probably behind Halloween, that's my second favorite franchise. The excitement level is definitely there. I'm always open to any kind of new ideas or anything they want to explore. I think the one question I have, or was thinking about is I wonder if people will stay focused. I think when you say Crystal Lake or Friday the 13th, everybody's going to automatically, how much is Jason going to be in this? Or how long is it before we're going to see Jason? So I'm kind of curious to see that aspect of it, how long it's going to be before we actually, have that part of it in the show. But I mean, I'm a big fan of Friday the 13th, and I'm pretty excited about it. Outside of Halloween, I'm really looking forward to it.
Jade asks if you do Jason masks as well, or is it just Michael stuff?
I've never actually attempted a Jason mask before. I've watched some tutorials and reached out to a few people that do them, and some are, more, some share with you and some don't. I'll just put it like that. But I would like to try my hand at those.
I wouldn't even know where you begin. Like, you just buy a hockey mask, or do you make it from scratch?
I think usually you can just pick up a blank. I can't recall where you actually get them from. I know there's some people that sell them, and a lot of people 3D print them and sell them. It just really depends. Not a lot of people offer blanks, but I've seen a lot of videos on it, and it does, at least me looking at it, it doesn't like it would be overly difficult. But to me, I mean, everything is an art. So, I mean, I could try to start on one, and who knows, it might turn out to be a complete disaster. But even with the Myers mask, I had a lot of trial and error when I first started. And I think a part of that problem was I was like a really impatient and over anxious to get something finished. So I would just kind of rush through it. Really, the key to doing any kind of mask making, painting, or whatever is taking your time, having a process in your head of what you want it to look like, how you want to attack it, and really just taking your time and working it out.
Matt, how about you, man? You're a big Friday guy. How do you feel about a Friday the 13th TV series titled Crystal Lake, done by Brian Fuller, that's very likely to be much different tone than, I'd say, every Friday the 13th movie that wasn't the 2009 remake?
So for me, I remember watching Hannibal and how great Hannibal was, and knowing that Brian Fuller is behind behind this new series gives me a lot of faith in it. But you always got that little piece in the back of your mind, and it's just like, how many ways can they mess this up too? I mean, if it's not good, it won't get a full series run if it's not that good. But I believe that it is. If it just needs to be done right. They need to tell Jason's backstory right. We need to get a little more into that backstory. And what are we going to see Jason's father? Maybe not. We should.
That one's been in the rumor mill for a long time. In terms of exploring that.
But I just don't see Brian Fuller messing this up. He's too good, and he was way too. I mean, I don't think Hannibal should have been as good as it came out to be, because it's like, well, what can you do with it now that we haven't seen? And there was a lot they did with.
People look at me like I'm an alien when I say, legitimately, I believe Hannibal is better than Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, I can agree with that.
Keep in mind, you're comparing, a very short amount of time to a ton of time with the characters, so it's not really fair.
But his take on it, I mean, was just amazing. But he's already a great actor. He can pretty much tap into anything and make it fairly good. So I'm I'm excited, but I'm always in the back of my mind till we see what we get. Gonna have some curiosity. I mean, not curiosity. Some I don't know behind
Skepticism.
it. Skepticism. Yeah.
Johnny, how about you, man? I think you're a bigger Friday guy than Halloween guy. I don't know many people that watch the channel know that. So where are you with your faith level in this and excitement for the series?
Well, I mean, so I make no secret that as far as the big three horror movie franchises, Halloween is my number 3. It always has been. I have Friday and Nightmare ahead of Halloween on my overall list. Has that changed over time? Well, maybe Halloween has sort of inked up a little, but I don't think enough for me. But I am 100% confident in this because Brian Fuller as a producer for television series has, for me personally, like a 90% success rate, as far as things he has created. I mean, not just Hannibal, but he was also the guy behind Heroes, which the first season is one of the best series of television I've ever seen. He also created Dead Like Me, which is a very underrated cult series that I love watching, then and now. But I'm confident in his ability to do this because, like you said, Hannibal is so good. And it's so true to the source. Like, it's 110% the books come to life, which is something that's very hard to achieve from a character like that. It's so different, yet so the same, that comparing Silence of the Lambs to the Hannibal series is almost impossible because it's the same character, and it's so easy for me as a viewer. It is so easy for me to take Hannibal and Silence of the Lambs and have them coexist in the same universe because we never got to the Silence of the Lambs story within the Hannibal series. It's very easy for me to watch those first 2 seasons and then watch the Silence of the Lambs movie because they fit so well together, that it's impossible to do. And I'm confident in his ability to do this because it's not going to be your full-fledged slasher, blood and gore fest thing. Brian Fuller is a storyteller of immense skill and talent, and I'm confident that this series is going to be fantastic. But to a further point, I think, we were talking about Chris making Jason masks. I think I could make an excellent mask from part 2.
Well, that doesn't take much. Jeez.
Cut a few holes in a burlap sack. I'm good. I can make an A+ version.
Watch out, Chris. Johnny's coming for you.
Hey, there you go. Do it, man. Do it.
Gonna corner that Friday the 13th Part 2 market.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I dig him, though, in that movie. I really enjoy Jason in that one.
He doesn't get as much love before he gets the hockey mask. But with like that halberd pike thing.
The wheelchair kill in that? Oh, my God. Cruel, sadistic, hilarious.
I think Part 2 is probably one of my favorite Jason looks, and if anybody ever played the video game Friday the 13th, that was my favorite Jason to use, period. So
that I think Sean used that one too, didn't you?
Yep. That and 6, I believe, were the ones I would go with.
Yeah, I used the one that could sprint. I think
I would always
5.
go for the Jasons that could run.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think the one thing that this show faces is something that Dean and I talk about with the something that Dean and I talk about regularly with the upcoming Halloween series is to make something interesting over 8 episodes or 10 episodes or multiple seasons. You need to have interesting, relatable protagonists that people want to watch. And with all due respect to all you Friday fans out there, I'm one of them. That is something this series just doesn't do. Tommy aside. Where do you guys fall with the protagonists? Like, because they can't use the movie formula. It just doesn't work. It's a series.
You've got a character build. You've got a story build a little bit and make it interesting. You can't just throw in a cast of teens and then just have them axed off one by one.
Yeah.
You're going to have at least, 8 to 10 episodes, if not more. So yeah, you've got a character build a little bit and give us the chance to kind of get attached to them before they're killed off.
I mean, it's going to be a slow burn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got to take your time bringing Jason into the story. I think like you can't just have him pop up halfway through episode 1 and be done with it. Like I mean, you can sort of have him like in sort of that Myers Halloween 1-esque, playing in the shadows and watching and looking at things, and you see him but they don't, while you're establishing these characters throughout a majority of the first episode. I think is probably the best way to do that myself, so that you can introduce these characters and sort of figure out, okay, this is the one we're going to be, you figure out who you're getting emotionally invested in as a character by them telling their stories. And the camp does provide a good opportunity for you to figure out who the good guys are, who the not so good guys are, and who you want to see with a machete in their face very soon. I think it's the best way for them to do this. And I mean, that's the way I'd be doing it. And I think Fuller is going to do that. And I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see Jason in an active role for the better part of the first 2 episodes, personally. It's going to be some time before he gets his first kill.
I know there's people that are worried that Jason's not going to be featured that much, but it sounds like that's not the route they're going to go. They're going to Pamela is going to be featured, but I don't think we're going to just stay with her. I think we're going to. I think this is going to be a show that branches across multiple timelines. Not necessarily like Arrow, the TV show was, for example, but maybe start at one point and then you work your way up. I wouldn't be surprised if we get to the end of season 1 and we get, that's Jason's big moment sort of thing. And then, okay, now we wait for season 2 where it's all him. Good way to hook people. Matt, Chris, you guys have any thoughts on interesting protagonists? It's not something, in my opinion, this franchise has done well.
I think just mainly, like Dean was saying, just let it build up and like actually, develop, like care about the characters, concern for them. I think there's been a lot of things that I've seen in the past where you could care less whether the whole cast died. And then there's, the things where, you actually develop a little bit of care for the characters in the movie, or you actually feel for their situations. I think to me, it hits harder when you actually, feel sympathy or empathy for some of these characters, and you really don't want to see them, die in the show or whatever. But to me, I just don't want it to be a show where people are just getting killed left and right, and you really don't. You're maybe there 1 or 2 episodes, and then it's on to the next, group of people. I would really like it to be, have some characters that really last through the whole thing.
I mean, if they're smart, what I would do is I would make Jason's father the protagonist, and just show how Pamela just got even. And I would actually do this before Jason was born, kind of like to show the seeds of him, and then after Jason's born, just in him. Let's say he becomes an alcoholic and just becomes more abusive over the years, and so you're building that concern and love for his Jason's mother, and if and then as probably down the at the end of the first season, she kills him. And that's how they play that. And it just shows just time over time, until she just finally breaks. And then that's when you kill the father. And then you turn around and kill the counselors. That's how that spree begins.
That's a good idea, but I can one-up your idea. Now, hear me out. Genius idea. Tons of thought went into this. Have him hide in a sewer for 4 years after annihilating a mob, then have him get ragdolled by a kid, and then have him job to whatever protagonist, and then you can roll his body out in a funeral procession for good measure. We can do that, right?
Don't forget about the wood chipper.
I was, they could have saved the whole thing for me if Michael grabs Lori's foot or something.
Just drags
It
her
would have
into
been
the
like,
wood
okay,
chipper.
thank you.
At least then you would have been like, "Oh crap," and not seen it coming from a mile out.
Hey,
Seriously.
that's Dean's favorite storyline.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, to me, it sounds like you just don't get it. So I don't know, man. You might not be a true fan. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. A true fan would get it, you know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
One day.
Fake fan. He's a fake fan.
So we have a treat for all you before we move on to some Halloween to finish the show. This wasn't planned. I think Jade was just being tongue in cheek, and yet, when asked, pardon me, he delivers. So, first time for all you encountering this. Not the first time for me, but
First time encountering in person, anyway.
Yeah.
True.
It's time. Oh no, you're not
That's
Dean.
not. I'm not the guy doing this segment. This is not my segment.
1 second here, guys.
I can show and tell my bottle. Do we want to do that? Is that a thing? Hello, this is a water bottle. It's wonderful. It has a screw top cap, 710 milliliters. It's a great water bottle. Everybody should have one.
If it's not a Stanley Cup, we don't want to see it.
Well, it's not a Stanley Cup. This is a gym bottle. This is a gym bottle. Look at that. Look at that clasp right there. Just clip onto your belt.
Hang on. I gotta get us out of Dean's way.
Who needs
here.
Stanley when you've got Contigo?
What is it? Contigo.
Contigo. I don't know. I bought it at Walmart.
I think Jade has a Stanley. All right. So, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for an impromptu edition of Show and Tell.
All right. So I had a feeling this might come up. So I figured let me grab something just in case. And let's go through another Arrow collector set. However, this is one that I haven't really pulled out yet. And slightly different from a standard Arrow set. So what I have here is the 4K limited edition of True Romance. And I know Freddie in the chat is a huge fan of this movie. It's a Tarantino, Tony Scott film. If you've never seen this, it's a wild ride of like a romance that develops and craziness with just the two of them and what they get into. And it's a hell of a movie. It's a fun time to watch. So I don't want to kind of go into too many details and ruin it if anybody does want to go ahead and check this out. But getting into this Arrow set here, like I said, slightly different from the others that I have because this is a Steelbook limited edition where you just get a beautiful Steelbook right off the bat for these. Oh, it even comes with a sticker that mimics one of the tattoos in the movie. So that's always cool. What else do we got in here? Art cards per usual and a mini poster. So let's start with the cards. You get shots from the movie. Some of them are double-sided. Always have fun with these. And then this is a prop mock-up of one of the postcards from in the movie. So very cool stuff from Arrow per usual. This has a double-sided poster. I think it's a smaller scale one. Actually, it's single-sided, but you do get a flip-out poster. Let's make sure we're getting that right. Very cool. That's actually a promo for something else, but we'll get into that. 4K and a Blu-ray set here, I think, unless they're both 4Ks. No, it's a 4K and a Blu-ray. So we got a 4K, a Blu-ray, tons of special features on this as well. I know Sean loves that stuff. Great shot there of an exterior shot and them in a photo booth. Beautiful steelbook too. This was a little pricey. I think this was closer to like the $60 range, but well worth it. What else do we got in here? We'll get into, I didn't peel the J card off the back of this. So that's all your content. Tons of special features. here's the poster for True Romance. This one is double-sided, where we get the newly commissioned artwork on one side, if I can fit this beast in the picture. So you get the new Arrow artwork on the front, and then original on the back. Love when they do the double-sideds. So you get your options on what you want to display. And then, in typical Arrow fashion, these limited editions always come with a nice big booklet, all kinds of stuff. Per usual. Let's see if there's anything fun in here to get into. It's usually just your interviews and stuff, but yeah, all your images. Like usual. We'll flip through this real quick. Bunch of movie shots. So
I get to see in Sideshow Bob.
yeah. So yeah, these typical booklets that I've covered on Tonight in Haddonfield all the time. But nonetheless, yeah, that is the little quick impromptu True Romance 4K limited edition steelbook set from Arrow Video.
I got to tell you, I'm sitting here and, I'll admit, I've never heard of this film. Never even heard of it. And then you said Tarantino. I'm like, how the hell have I not heard of it? But I guess it's classified as a Scott film.
More so.
With and not in with his, in what is he doing, 9 or 10 films, something like that. I think 10 films and done.
Mm-hmm.
So he says till someone pays him an outrageous amount of money.
Yeah.
I'm done. I swear. Quadruple my fee. Got some comments in the chat about this. Steve says, love this movie. Freddie loves it. Wait, what do we have this?
Yeah,
Did anybody see this?
Where are we at?
Oh, he's talking about oh my god. Jade, help me out. I sent this to you today. She's sitting in the other room. I don't know if she heard me. Oh no, we're not talking about that. Although I will say this, we didn't get to talk about it because we haven't been on. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, but that's not who he's talking about. Anybody recognize it's not going to show? Oh yes, it is.
Richard Lewis.
Richard Lewis of comedian and obviously one of the primary cast members on Curb Your Enthusiasm passed away, and that one. It's a lot of people leaving this planet that are really hitting close to home and hard pill to swallow. Travis said, great choice. Jade said, Dean, on Monday you said you liked the double-sided posters. Let me ask you, who hurt you? I hate those. I can never decide what side to display and end up leaving it in the box since I don't want to offend the other side.
Yeah, so for me, with the double-sideds, I like the option. And the way I'll hang like a poster on a wall in a frame, I'll get something quick and easy so that I can pull it off the wall and flip it around and then throw it back on the opposite side to display like whatever the other side of the poster might be for a while. And it gives you an option to kind of change it up a little bit every now and then.
Well, I agree with Jade. It's cool to have them. I think they just stay in the box, though, for me, right?
I have too many. I
still have the 5 posters from the initial Scream Factory batch, the Halloween 4Ks. They haven't been touched.
I have a bin full. I think I'm over 50 now of just Scream Factory posters in the tubes, like just a whole bin put away because I don't have the wall space to obviously put them all up. But yeah, I think I've crossed like 50 posters just from Scream Factory.
I wasn't aware James Gandolfini was in that, so I hadn't even heard of the film. So now, on top of it being Tarantino involvement and James Gandolfini, I think I'm going to have to check this film out.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Maybe not for the $100 Canadian it cost Dean to buy that, but I'll find a way to watch it somewhere. Which brings us to our final topic of the night. Not so much a topic for Dean and I, but for others. We'll chime in a bit. There's a Halloween TV series coming. We haven't talked about it too much with the rest of you guys on this series, on this panel. We just talked about things that the Crystal Lake series is going to have to do to be successful, just to be a series. We talked about the things Hannibal did well. So, Johnny, let me start with you, man. Halloween series, first time to the small screen, although there might be a movie that comes out prior to that that leads into it, i.e., the Batman, and now with Penguin. What do they have to do for a Halloween series? Not work just for you, but for the general public and to be successful.
Well, I think success for a Halloween TV series is honestly probably the easiest to achieve as far as true horror franchises go, because Halloween wasn't built on the kills as much as all of the other franchises were. It was built on the suspense leading up to the kill. It was built on those moments in between kills where you'd have Michael stalking his prey and catching you off guard, and then having, the gruesome kill as the capper of the moment, not being the moment itself. So I think for Halloween series, it has to capture that. It has to capture the shape and not Michael Myers, as it were. The kills are important, but the stuff that happens in between kills is more important. And I think Halloween is uniquely suited to do that, because even in the movies, so much more goes on in between kills. Compared to your Friday the 13th and your Nightmare on Elm Streets, where they are mostly going from kill to kill to kill to kill to kill, with a little exposition thrown in the back third. Halloween is built on the exposition all the way through. And I think that's what they need to capture. You need to have that essence of Myers throughout. You need to feel like the main characters are being stalked and hunted and preyed upon. And that's the most important thing. The rest of the kills will come. The other characters are, important to the story, but Michael is the most important part, and without him, it's his presence that's the most important part of his character. And if they can capture his presence, I think they have the chance to do something special with a Halloween TV series.
How about you, Chris? You're a big Halloween guy, obviously. What do they got to do with the series to make it work?
For me personally, what I would want to see is, I think I would like maybe it to be more so kind of like how they did the very first Halloween. There was a lot of suspense, a lot of build-up. You had a lot of Michael in the shadows watching. Even though I can't even remember how long it was into the first movie before he actually had an on-screen kill, besides Judith. To me, the reason I love Halloween is it's just that suspense. It's, Annie walking past the door and he's sitting at the door, or he's looking through a window, or just things like that. I think the stalking part of it is what really gets me into it. I like the suspense leading up to the kills. I don't necessarily have to see him, killing somebody in the first, 5 to 10 minutes of an episode or whatever. I'd rather have it built up and have that, something big at the end. But definitely Michael being in it is a big deal for me. Having a solid presence, and I know Halloween Ends left a lot of bad taste in people's mouths because Michael was just non-existent in that movie basically, and definitely don't want to go that route where you hardly see him. I don't know if you guys, I'm showing my age a little bit here, but there used to be a show out a long time ago called Freddy's Nightmares, Nightmare on Elm Street, the series. And Freddy wasn't, like, the first episode, was about him before they, he was running around, it showed the trial at the beginning, and then it went into the parents tracking him down and burning him. And then, he was very prominent in the first episode. And after that, the episodes where he was actually involved in the storyline rather than just making an appearance and cracking some jokes just was not a lot. It was very few, far in between on that. And I don't want that to be the way they go. I would rather, to me, I want to see Michael. That's what everybody that watches Halloween, for the most part, they want to see Michael. And I don't want it to be where he's just, just here and there.
Matt, how about you, man? Before you leave us here, as we get ready to wrap this thing up, Halloween series. What do you need from it to be happy? Funeral
I think
procession part two.
what was the last thing you said?
Funeral procession part two.
No, I guess I'm with everybody else. Carpenter always said it. This movie wasn't about kills. It was about suspense. It was about the shadow, being in the shadow. The kills were just an after effect. It was just the lead up. So I think above all, that's what I need from a Halloween. Kind of truly get it back to its roots. And I'm fine with a movie first, and then kind of lead it into the TV show. And as we've rumored, we've said that that's a strong rumor. So, as long and then they leave it like completely open to go into the TV show. Which way could they take? Could we have stuff from WrestleVille? I don't think the angles it could take are as prominent as they are in Halloween. I'm sorry, in Friday, and what they could do, but I think they could be a lot more effective within a Halloween movie going to a TV show. I mean, they could even tell the story of the masks. They could lead it into that and go back to Michael. I mean, there's so many ways they could do it, but if it's Michael, and Michael's on the screen, he needs to be in the shadow. The root of what his character was.
I love the idea of having him. Again, I go back to Flanagan a lot because I like what Flanagan does, but in a lot of Flanagan's material, there are some scenes, some of the background movement is very intentional, and others it's done so subtly that that you miss it, like unless you watch it 2 or 3 or 4 times. And I think it'd be so amazing to have like the first episode where like even like the the viewer that pays some of the most close attention they can to the show doesn't see Michael standing in plain sight behind whatever there during the moment, and that's like, wait a second, you go back and check. I think some like the psychological side of that would be fun. Dean, we talked about this a lot, so maybe offer me a little bit of a different view in terms of the Halloween TV series. These guys talked about what they want to see. Obviously, you're not a Halloween Ends guy, and we've already teased that a few times on this show. But other than Halloween Ends, what's something you don't want to see from this series?
I'm gonna actually go out on a limb and say, like, with the kills, don't revisit what we got in Halloween Kills. Like, they were fun. I think that's fun as like a one-off where we got the wild kills and the gore factors amped up. Let's take a step back. Let's go back to suspense and background and shadows and give us more so, let's say, Michael going after Annie. Like, we've talked about it, you and I, Sean, quite a few times, that he toys with Annie and fucks with Annie to an extent to where we guess that probably happened over a course of like 20 to 25, maybe 30 minutes. So he really toys with her before even, finally killing her off. So I kind of want to go back to that. Let's stick to like that original aesthetic of, stalking and lurking in the shadows. And let's try to get creative with some of the kills, even though they're not as gory. Let's change things up. And maybe when we do see that after effect of when he stages the body, when he's done, maybe we just see some wild stuff that we haven't seen out of him before. So let's maybe change up like the kill factor a little bit.
Yeah. Don't just give me a remake of 1978. I know you could spin it as, okay, well, we get to spend more time with Laurie. Here's more time with Brackett, and you have Annie who could have significantly more time. You could do different things with Loomis. but I just don't want to see that same story play out again. Like we've gotten it multiple times, multiple timelines. Do something fresh with Michael. I'm not saying you can't use legacy characters in some way, but do something fresh. Look what Steph Hutchinson did. He ended up taking those legacy characters in his Halloween reboot trilogy and still having them in there, but a lot of them having much different paths and meaning to their purpose. So yeah, don't give me 78 over again. I just want to say before Johnny takes us home here, I appreciate everybody coming out tonight. This was actually fun. It was an active chat, and for the first 25 minutes, it was what we thought it would be. To those individuals, you don't win, and find something better to do with your time, because we're going to keep doing what we do here and other places, and you're just wasting your own time. So, and I hope you get some help, because it seems like you need it. I know if I was in that sort of position, only doing that with my time, I'd probably have to seek it out myself. And to the people in the Legacy of Halloween, it's a Halloween fandom group, people. That's the purpose of it. Guess what? I don't like Tina. I don't like Halloween 5. And I don't particularly like the story for Halloween Ends. But I'm okay if you do. That's all right. If Halloween 5 is your favorite because you've been hitting the head one too many times, that's okay. No, seriously, though. Love what you love. Do what you want to do. Life is short. Don't let anybody ruin it for you. And we're looking forward to Monday night here on the channel, because for the first time in a long time, he'll be back on the channel in person with Dean and myself. Mike Bish returns, and we're going to talk Halloween and Scream specifically. But now that there's an actual start date to Crystal Lake filming, maybe we'll squeeze that into the topic discussion. And Dean will be back with show and tell. In fact, I might have something to show Monday, but it might not happen till the following Monday. So we shall see. That being said, Johnny, take us away, man.
Oh, well, all right. It's time for us to say goodnight. Thank you, everybody, for coming out here tonight. It's been...
Sorry,
it's been a
Sham.
great night.
I didn't mention Sham. Sham earlier.
Oh, there he
Sham.
is. Yeah.
I didn't mention... Well, there you
Dude, go to bed. It's like 3 a.m. over there.
All right. Dean, Sean, everybody knows where to find you. We'll do you guys in a second. Chris, tell us, where can everybody find you?
Instagram, it's ChrisC_78. On Facebook, Chris Christensen. That is the only social media that I'm on right now. So yeah.
Awesome stuff. Obviously, Dean, Monday night tonight in Haddonfield. Anywhere else they can find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on the Legacy of Halloween group, moderating and adminning, trying to keep it together over there as best we can. Bringing on 2 new team members has definitely helped. So Facebook at Dean Renner, in the Legacy of Halloween group, you'll see me in there. Reach out, message, anything you guys need. Pretty available. And obviously Monday nights on Tonight in Haddonfield.
Sean, Monday night, tonight in Haddonfield. Tuesday night, Legacy of Star Wars. Wednesday night, occasionally, welcome to the Geek Side.
Next week.
Oh, schedule's tiring. Anywhere else they can find you?
No, I'm not going to advertise that, but if you run into us, you can say hello.
I kind of meant the socials, buddy.
Oh,
that's a great freeze post. Somebody get a snapshot of that. Somebody
great.
absolutely get a snapshot of that. We're going to need that for meme purposes going forward. First person to post that in the Legacy of Halloween or Fandom Now gets a cookie. Not an actual cookie, but
there's other people who like taking all sorts of pictures of me and getting all close up on my face, so maybe they got it. Anyways, thanks for doing this, Johnny. What can people find you at? What kind of things are you into?
Very few that I'm going to talk about on air. No, seriously though, Tuesday nights, Legacy of Star Wars, you find me there. It's going to be a busy month for me next month. I got a lot of plans for a lot of things. Relaunching Bros Before Pros is one of them, with so many new games coming next month that I'm excited for. So watch out for that. But yeah, Tuesday nights, Legacy of Star Wars, right here on the Fandom Empire, Facebook and YouTube. catch their Tuesday nights and replay whenever you want to. Of course, if you guys like this, if you guys enjoy us, if you guys want to, show your appreciation, head down below, click the thumbs up, like, subscribe, click the notification bell, all that stuff you can do to help us defeat the algorithms. And of course, check out the other stuff on the channel. Like I said, Monday night, Tonight in Haddonfield. Tuesday night, Legacy of Star Wars. Wednesday night, when it airs, Welcome to the Geek Side. And of course, coming soon to this wonderful small screen, another show to add to your weekly schedule, Sean, Legacy of Smallville. You and Jade will be talking about each episode of a wonderful series featuring the two of you and occasionally special other guests. Of course, if you want to contribute to the channel at another level, you can, of course. We appreciate that so much. Head on over to our Patreon page, patreon.com/Fandom Empire, and you can contribute at whatever level you feel comfortable, from 0 all the way to $1 billion if you're, Bill Gates, and you love us. We'll take it. Well, thanks for watching us. We hope you guys had fun. We had fun. And, wow, I almost did the Star Wars outro there. That wouldn't have worked for this. So, I guess, thanks for surviving. We'll see you next time on Fandom Empire Live.
Wait. He's actually awake in the green room.
Is he? There he is.
Where's everybody find you at, brother? Here, sometimes.
Oh, you can find me on my bed asleep most of the time.
All right.
No, I'm around. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram. Instagram's Matty Phillip West. And if you want to talk in BS, I'm always here most of the time.
Why would you do that to me, Shem? We're friends, man. We're supposed to be signed buds.
He wanted that
right.
cookie.
Good fucking night. Have a great weekend, people.